Hi, good morning, everyone. So, I'm Pooja Surendran, speech and language therapist in Tariq Rehabilitation and Autism Center for the past 1 year. So, today we will be discussing about speech and communication in autism, the importance of early identification and intervention. Today, so we will be explore what autism is, what are the early signs, what's the importance of early identification and timely intervention. So, by the end of the session, you will get a clear picture about the early support can make a real difference in the lives of children with autism and their families. So let's moving on to the slides. So let's moving with what autism exactly is. It's a neurodevelopmental condition, meaning how the brain reacts and how it develops, particularly in areas related to communication and behavior. So the term spectrum is most widely used, which means some individual may have strong verbal skills, they have lacking social skills, but some may be non-verbal and they use other alternative means of communication to expressing their needs. So according to CDC in 2024, it's showing that the prevalence is 1 in 36 children are diagnosed with autism. So moving on to the causes of autism, how autism is exactly caused. So the studies have been shown that there is no single causes for autism has been exactly identified. It may be due to, sorry. So it may be due to some biological, genetical or environmental causes, or maybe due to any other interaction of the early brain development abnormalities. So we can discussing one by one in detail. So moving on to the first one, that is the causes of autism spectrum disorder. There is no single cause for autism, which means it may be due to, I told you that it may be due to the interaction of some genetical and environmental factors. That is maybe the environmental influences during pregnancy and early infancy can interact with the genetic susceptibilities, and maybe due to some medications at the complications of birth may slightly increases the risk also. So I told you that according to the environmental factors, it is showing that the premature birth weight, low birth weight, that may be some factors that are affecting during the time of autism. So let's discuss what are the core areas affected. So moving on to the core areas affected, the first one may be social interaction, and the second one may be communication, and the third one may be restricted or repetitive behaviors. So the social interaction is one of the most noticeable area affected in children with speech. So, what are the challenges they are exactly facing? They may have difficulty to forming and maintaining relationships. That is difficulty understanding social cues and emotions. Preference for solitude or parallel play. They don't want to interact with the peer group also. They only prefer to play with the parallel play or the solitude play. So moving on to the communication, that may be both verbal and non-verbal. So moving with respect to the communication, echolalia is one of the most important aspect noticed in child with autism and also with the adult. So what is echolalia is? It is a repetition of words and phrases. The child may be repeating some cartoon line or sentence line, repeat again and again. So that is what echolalia exactly is. There are different types of echolalia have been noticed: delayed echolalia, immediate echolalia. So the echolalia may be varied according to the severity of the autism. So sorry. So moving on to the restricted or repetitive patterns, there will be repetitive hand movements that may be noticed in child with autism. That is hand flapping, rocking. Some may have sensory sensitivities also observed. It may be sound, light texture, etc. So moving on to ABA, it's a behavioral intervention. It breaks. We actually uses the positive reinforcement to shape the child behavior. So it focuses on functional communication and social skills. So picture exchange communication system, that is PECS. It's a visual based communication. That is, we are using pictures for the child to communicate more. We are providing some picture. Whatever exactly goal is, we have to provide the picture one by one and make the child to interact with the picture. So there are different phases are included in that system. So it encourages and it initiative they provide the child to communicate more, because when the child is non-verbal or they is non-verbal, for example, if the child is non-verbal, we have to use pictures to communicate more. So picture exchange communication system is one of the structured visual communication program that we used in non-autistic children. Okay, then we can use social stories. So it's a short personalized stories. Here is an example. So social stories. See, in this picture, we can use a social stories also. It is important to play nicely with others. A social story help the child to build what they are doing. For example, see in the picture, you can see that they can share toys, and we can use different types of social stories to what they want to explore in the system. Then DIR or floor time is another approach. It's a DIR means it's a developmental, individual difference and relationship based model. So it is more upon that a child lead play. For example, in ABA and also it's an actually the therapist is leading that in that technique the therapist is leading the system. Here the child is leading the system. That build the communication, that is child lead or play session is engaged in floor DIR or floor time approach. So it encourages and spontaneous social communication also. So AAC, you all know that it's an augmentative and alternative communication. It is mainly used in those who have non-verbal autism. They didn't speak or their speech, they didn't respond to verbally. When in such cases, we have to use AAC devices and apps. There are different types of AAC apps are available. See, different types of AACs are there. That is, high-tech AACs are there, low-tech AACs are there, no-tech AACs are there. So in high-tech, we use tablets, iPad, such as etc. In low-tech apps, I told you that text, that is picture exchange communications are we usually used. That is drawing books, picture books. Through this, we have to communicate with the child. And no-tech AACs are also available. That is sign language, body language. So in some cases, we have to use different types of AACs also. So these are one of the low-tech AC device, that is communication boards. Then moving on to the role of parents and caregivers in child with autism. So parents play a most important role in developing communication. So daily routines, meal time, we have to use simple and clear language that help the child understand better. We have to praise every communication attitude. That is, we have to go the reinforcement for every aspect of the child, praises their communication attempt, maintain a consistent routine, and collaborate with other professionals also. For example, behavioral therapist, ABA therapist, occupational therapist, we have to collaborate with them also, and we have to tell the parents. In the previous session, told that parents, empowering parents and partners, not as observers. Not as observers. So the role of parents and caregivers is playing an important role in aspect of child with autism. So education and communication support. So many countries offer early intervention programs that provide speech and behavioral therapy. In school level also, IAP's programs are available. Inclusive classrooms are there. Altogether, community awareness and supports are also provided for these child. So in this way, we can empower these child and their families also. So thank you. Sorry. So thank you. If you have any queries related to that, you can ask me.